listening to Opie and Anthony. Opie and Anthony. On the virus. Sirius-XM.
Talking to Louie C.K. I don't know if what we were just talking about is worth talking about on the air, but I was telling Louie, when I walk around in my dumb life, so many people come up to me and tell me one of their favorite episodes of Louie' show was the one where he follows the kid home that kind of threatened him in the donut shop. And then the episode ends with Louie just kind of hanging out on the stoop with the kid's father. He follows him all the way to Staten Island. And it's not a lot of laughs in there, but people love that episode. But it also, you were saying, frustrates or pisses off people because they weren't laughing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't get that.
Well,
because that could have been my favorite episode.
I think it was one of my favorite ones. I mean, I don't look at stuff on TV as segregated comedy or drama.
Right.
Like most things actually that are sold as comedies don't make me laugh. Like
right.
I haven't watched a comedy movie that's really made me laugh. To me,
please, you didn't go see the Flockers movie? Come on, Lou.
Yeah, that's a movie made for you, Lou.
It's funny
because made for you.
Robert De Niro, his comedies are so bad, but his dramas are hilarious. To me, two of the funniest movies in history are Goodfellas and Raging Bull. Mm-hmm. Two hilarious movies, not sold as comedies. They're not supposed to be funny.
What was the last comedy you laughed at? Do you remember?
Fuck, I don't know. Maybe Dumb and Dumber.
Wow.
Like, that made me laugh just because of how dumb and dumber it was. Yeah, exactly. But other than that, I haven't really laughed at a lot of... Sometimes I watch Family Guy on Netflix to fall asleep. Like, it's something that actually helps me fall asleep. And it makes me laugh really hard. But there's something... because it's a cartoon, I think it's just because it's cartoons put me to sleep. Because it's one-dimensional and it has...
Sure.
A sing-songy way of it. The Family Guy has these voices that talk like, dang it, so it kind of puts me to sleep.
It's kind of funny actually, that you say that.
And I kind of hated it the first time I saw it because it's so jokey. But but I gave it a chance because you should
love the characters.
When you adjust to something you're not used to. That's what a lot of people just won't do that. They're like, this isn't what I am sure is already good. So I hate it.
This is not what I'm used to.
But if you make an adjustment, and actually if something's not what you're used to, then you might find a new thing to laugh at, which there's nothing better in life. And if Family Guy does that for me, it surprises me with a constant stream of jokes. And then I go to sleep.
You made a great point during the break when we were just chit-chatting. You said you like being surprised by things.
That's the best thing you can do.
Fuck yeah.
Is to find entertainment or humor or intrigue in a location of people's minds that they haven't found it before.
And it goes back to that poker scene you did, which Jim Norton's in and all the guys, where you guys are just busting each other's balls.
It starts as just and also because it was early in the season, I liked that people would be. I mean, I'm aware of the context of an episode now from having done. Lucky Louie taught me a lot as far as like just coming on TV all of a sudden, and what that means. So I knew people would be like, they'd start watching the poker scene, thinking, okay, so we're gonna once in a while see Louie and his buddies playing poker. This is an introduction, and they banter and they make gay jokes because that's just what fellas are like. And then that episode just stumbles into this fucked up territory, and then all of a sudden you're not laughing, and you're watching this guy talk about this thing, and then I make a joke in the middle of it, which is really inappropriate, and so it's wait a minute, am I supposed to be laughing at this or not?
Right.
And then it goes away. The episode isn't even about that, and we never saw that group of guys again.
I fucking hate you. I'll tell you why. Because you just explained what I thought. Like, okay, the poker...
Yeah, but hate's not the way to deal with it.
No, I hate Louie. But I thought you were going to keep going back. That would be a central thing of your show. Right. Absolutely. I bought into that. Like, okay, they're going to be doing poker every once in a while to just kind of have a little fun and beat each other
again.
up. And it never happened again. You surprised me with that.
We might in season 2 have another poker game. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But you didn't have to go there again.
No, it didn't have to. And again,
other shows would have. Other shows would have.
Every show would have.
Well, there were some lines that were made.
Every show would have done it. Definitely.
You should have done something like we were playing cards and someone should have said liquor in the front, poker in the back, and just give you a little finger like that.
A little finger on the side.
Yeah, a little joke.
That would have been good. We'll come back and do that. No, and we didn't come back to it, and other shows would have been pressured by a network to. We love the poker,
Please
guys.
do more poker, right?
Let's hear
Yeah, that's
what Eddie Brill has to say this week. Maybe he gets sad.
Yeah.
Oh, they would.
And not only would they do
that.
poker, but every episode, every
have to have
poker
it.
scene would start with guys razzing each other and then getting serious. It would have happened over and over again.
Same exact way. Oh,
right.
God. They just know how to unfunny shit up.
There was
Overkill.
originally a second scene to the poker thing, and we shot it, and I didn't use it, which is that at the end, it was going to be kind of bookends, and at the end of the episode, I'm on stage, because I used to do the bits about the word faggot, cunt, and nigger. Like, that was my chunk of inappropriate words bits that I did then.
Inappropriate.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh.
A little bit. And so I do the poker thing to address the word faggot, and then you see me on stage doing my bit about nigger and the N, people saying N-word instead of nigger and that stuff. And then Hannibal Buress, who's in the poker scene, the black comedian, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, man, you know, I see you banished faggot from your act, but you got nigger going strong. What's up with that?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't mean it that way." He's like, "Yeah, no, I get it, but you know, I hear Rick say all this stuff. Do I have to now explain to you what nigger means? Does that, you know?" And I'm like, "Geez, come on, man." And he's like, "I'm just saying, if you're going to say nigger, say faggot. I mean, it's not fair." So we actually,
That's good.
we actually shot it and then didn't use it because the sound was shitty and just didn't
really?
work. Yeah, otherwise I probably would have kept it.
How great is it that the
Technical
network lets you say nigger and faggot, though, is in the right context. It's just great that they don't fucking bother you.
Well, they
so nice.
the standards person at FX is really smart, and she calls me whenever we, you know, that poker scene was much dirtier at one point.
Really?
And John Landgraf, the FX president, called me and said that he loved the scene and that he wanted to put it early in the run so that it would get reviewed and it would be part of what people would notice about the show. He said, but it's too dirty. He said, if you want to keep it as dirty as it is, we have to bury it like 12 episodes deep.
Wow.
Because it was so just cum, every other word, cum, suck cock
Cummy,
up
cum,
the
cum.
ass, eat dicks, cum. And he said, if you can tone it down in just the amount of times you use those words, then and he said, but it's totally your choice. He said, I think it's worth it because then that episode will get, that's a weighty scene and it's worth doing. So I went through it to see if I could cut it down without hurting it. And I cut out, like, there's this part where I go, where I say, how come you have to wear shoes at the club? And Rick says, because the floor gets full of cum. And Nick DiPaolo goes, all right, we get it. And so I manufactured a cutoff where Rick goes, well, the floor gets full of, all right! And he cuts him off and doesn't let him say it.
Right.
I manufactured that in the editing, and I realized, you know what, this is actually making the scene better.
Sure.
That Nick gets nervous enough about the stuff that stops it from being said.
Yeah.
And I used that way of cutting it down. I didn't have to cut out as much as I thought I would. And I showed it to Landgraf, and he said, we can do that. And I'm so glad we did, because that episode partly is the reason the show got notoriety.
And that scene's gone viral for you.
Yeah, and there's this website for gay people called AfterElton.com. It's a very big gay website. And they called me up. This guy called me up and said, well, I don't understand how this scene talking about gay people came from a straight guy. He's like, and he wanted to know how a straight person ends up with this point of view. Oh, maybe I'm gay. I don't know. I haven't sucked a dick yet. Yeah. But hey, if I'm a closet gay, let me find out soon. I'm almost fucking 50.
Now,
get it out in the open so I can start taking advantage.
But FX
how awesome would that be? To all of a sudden open your fucking horizons by
at 50, you can just go, fuck it.
To go, oh my God.
Why not?
There's twice as many people I can fuck.
Why not?
Apparently, that's exactly what was tweeted on my fucking Twitter yesterday.
Yeah,
it said for the new year, I'm going to try buy so I could double my choice out there.
Yeah.
Because I had left my my iPad out, and Keith the cop was over the house and decided to tweet
really
as me.
Is that what you're saying? Or,
yeah,
that's your,
exactly what it
wow.
was. Yeah, it said in the new year I resolved to try buy. I mean, why not double my odds? And that's what he fucking does.
Well, that's what a friend does.
And I had to put Jesus fucking Keith got my Twitter again. I'm not trying to be bi. I really need to sign out of Twitter when I'm asleep.
Why did you need to dispel that, though?
Yeah, you should just left it out there.
What do you hurt? How are you hurt by that?
Well, I'm so homophobic that and I'm so insecure about my own masculinity that I feel I have to do that. I don't know why. Now that I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, why the fuck did I feel compelled to do that? I think it's more of I just want to, like, give a fuck you to Keith.
Sure.
More so than having to explain I don't think I had to explain that I'm again, nearing the big 5-0 mark and just deciding I want to be bi. I don't think I really had to explain that. More so, it's look at what asshole Keith did again.
I remember I did a show years ago with a guy named Tony V. Do you know Tony V? He's a comic from Boston.
I don't know.
Very funny guy. And we did the show. He's a really big guy, dressed as kind of like a biker, but he's also kind of weird. So he was wearing paisley boots, like colorful paisley boots, and then a biker jacket. And we were doing a show in Rhode Island, and some guy yells out, it was at a college, and this kid yells out, faggot. And Tony V, big burly guy, and goes, what? He goes, you look at your boots, you're a faggot. And Tony goes, well, let's examine that for a second. What if I was a faggot? What if I was gay? And I decided I wanted to take you out back by my car and force you down over the hood of my car and fuck you in the ass. If I had decided to do that, you know what you could do about it? Nothing. There's nothing you could do. I'm bigger than you. I'm smarter than you. I would just take you. And he goes, so you better pray I'm not a faggot. You better hope you're wrong, man.
It's a great way to handle it.
Yeah, who cares if somebody thinks you're gay? I really couldn't care less. If there was some way something came out that I was gay, I would never. I'm here to declare that these allegations are false. I just go, yeah, all right.
I want to say that. Yeah,
who cares? Yes,
honestly,
I'm gay.
I'm not backtracking because we make enough dick suck jokes in this place and self-deprecating homo jokes and stuff. But I think it was more of a just, oh, fuck, look, asshole got my fucking Twitter account again and did that.
I never care what people think. You know, you make up a few tranny stories, people start to think that it's real.
Yeah. Those
Oopsie.
wacky people.
Oops.
Sure they do.
We got a lot of people that want to say hi to Louie. Now that you're a big star, Louie.
No.
He's really famous.
Yeah.
I just keep looking at him. He's so famous.
I've just kind of crossed over to a place where I'd have to go through infamy to get out now. Like I'd have to do something bad.
Yeah, really bad. Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to just be a half-life like uranium. It'll be.
I think we kind of.
No, the truth is, the show.
away.
I already see the road back down. This season of the show, everyone says it's just not as good as the second. People love
to do that.
People love taking shows with promise, saying, you know what, wasn't as good.
Sophomore jinx.
John Langreff gets fired. Third season, I'm off the air. I go back on the road. I'm not as inspired as I've been in the past. I put out one shitty special, and
man.
it's over. I'm back at the Tempe Improv for $3,000 a week.
This leads to.
I already
movies.
know the.
Nah, it leads
I know
to
the-
movies, Lou.
and I know
Let's go the other way.
I can't handle the Tempe Improv at $3,000 a week at this
No,
point.
so
So
you'll
I don't
kill
have a good.
yourself.
So I go back next year, and they're like, "We don't even want you." And then I'm teaching college.
Terrible.
Maybe if I'm lucky, teaching
You
college.
drive by all the theaters to get to the local comedy club. Remembering the days when you were at the theater.
And fucking, Daniel Tosh doesn't say hi to me when he walks by. Daniel, hey, what's up?
Hey.
No, I'm not a fan. I'm actually a comic. Okay, it's fine. No, Daniel, remember I used to know you.
fine.
Okay, all right. Daniel can't talk to you right now. No, I know him. No, I know Daniel Tosh. I do.
What's worse than that phony, like, hey, man, how you doing? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, man.
Really?
Oh, it's fucking horrible.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah, it's Jim. Jim, no, of course, Jim.
Hey, I want to go to the phones because a lot of people want to say hi to Louis C.K.
Right.
The big special is this Sunday at 10 p.m. on Comedy Central. Hilarious. And it will be available on DVD and CD Tuesday, January 11th. Let's say hi to Howard in Miami. Howard.
Louie, love the show.
Thank you, Howard.
Hey, tell us about your Sarah Palin tweet.
Yeah, you kind of talked about it earlier.
Yeah, where you been?
Sarah Palin, yeah.
I didn't hear.
I was just drunk, and she fascinates me. That's all.
Yeah, where you
That's
been?
it. That's
You
the
don't
story.
think she has a real shot, right?
No, I think she could get nominated
Yeah.
and then lose.
Yeah.
She has no shot at winning the presidency.
I don't think so.
She's not a good enough debater, and honestly, she's not. I don't think she's bright enough to play on that level. And I'm not shitting on her. But I just don't.
I think she
can.
knows that, too, and she's just kind of enjoying the attention everyone gives her.
Well, I
don't think she even believes in herself.
She's smart enough that I don't think. Well, she didn't even want to be governor.
Right.
She
No.
didn't want to do it.
Doing a reality show now. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, but I don't know. Under the right circumstances, something weird could happen. I mean, I'm not saying that she's like I called her the new Hitler on Twitter once, and the person from FX said you can't compare her to a person who killed 6 million Jews, and I said, well, I'm not comparing her to that. I'm comparing her to like early Hitler.
Early Hitler.
Yeah, or the way that Hitler wrote, there is a comparison. It doesn't mean she's going to end up killing the same amount of Jews.
Early Hitler,
but
first
she's
couple of seasons.
Starting out a very similar way, which is to be extremely inflammatory, go to the right of the right wing, which is what she did, attack the conservatives as not being conservative enough, and create this reactionary fucked up party and take a few seats in the legislature and then take a few seats more. And I mean, this is what Hitler did. Hitler was elected to power. People forget that.
Oh yeah, they love
He took the Reichstag in little pieces, and then they started doing stuff like all of them would stand up and walk out during votes so that nothing could get done. And then he created a fake explosion and fire in the German capital and said it was terrorism. And then based on that, they created emergency measures, and then he got reelected, and then he made himself Fuhrer. Yeah. She could do that.
Fuhrer.
It's easier to do with a parliamentary system like they have in Europe.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
President is harder to take.
I think
that way.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tough. It's easier for somebody to rise to power in the presidency like Castro or Obama did. Look, I have to bash.
Yes,
I have to bash.
Totally, I understand.
The socialist.
All right, let me see.
I understand.
Let's go to Jersey. Eddie.
Hey, guys, good morning.
Good morning.
First-time caller. Love the show.
Thanks,
Hi, Eddie.
Listen, Louie,
Yeah.
there's a scene you shot in one of the episodes at the airport. I wish you guys had played. It was one of the funniest things I've seen, and I'm 57, so I've been watching TV since you had to get up and change the channel. So
It's a long time, Eddie.
Yeah, I know. But you got the guy at the counter losing his mind, but he's just out of the shot. I think you can just see his wife. And watching your face cringe as the guy is screaming at the counter, it was hysterically funny, and you got to do more of that.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, that happens all the time to me in airports and stuff. Somebody that's not in your world just fucking has a horrible moment, and you just get to see it.
Well, the funny thing is, I just got stranded out in Wisconsin last weekend trying to get back. So, I mean, and I'm thinking about that episode, actually, as I'm standing there trying to make reason of why I can't get home. But
how long you been flying, Eddie? Probably a long time, right?
Since the Wright brothers, dude.
They invented the airplane, so that means a long time.
That's a long time.
Jimmy, by the way, I want to thank you. You met my son the last time you were down at the Borgata. You treated him real nice.
Oh.
And he didn't even bother you for a picture, so thanks a lot, Jim.
Oh, you're welcome. Of course, man.
And Jimmy's going to be back at the Borgata, right, Jimmy? I know you're not promoting, but the guy mentioned it.
With Brewer, Attell, and Burr. Yeah, the first two are sold. The third one has a few tickets available to Late Show Friday.
That's great.
We're all going
Saturday.
down there, too.
That's great.
I want to ask Louie about the Huckleberry Finn thing.
What about Huckleberry Finn?
They're taking the N-word out of the book.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole documentary about that PBS did.
What?
You could probably get it on PBS or website or something. They did a whole documentary about Huck Finn. And that Nigger Jim is the name of the character. And that once in a while, this happened. This is a cyclical thing. That's why everybody should see this documentary. That every once in a while, since the book was written, like Mark Twain, there's actually a quote from him where he says, I knew that when I wrote Huck Finn, he would cause a lot of trouble and that he will throughout history. Like that every once in a while, some fucking college student reads it and goes, that says nigger in it. That's really offensive.
Comes around like nigger's
and starts a thing. Yes. Some fucking nigger. So there's actually, in the documentary, there's a great moment where Reagan is giving the Mark Twain Award to somebody or something like that. And he goes, and who can forget Huck Finn and his great friend, Jim. And there's a moment where he looks to the side and you can tell there's an aide waving his arms around. Like he said to him 50 times, Mr. President, when you give this award, say Jim, but it's Nigger Jim. I read it. I haven't read much, but it's Nigger Jim. Mr. President, you can't say nigger anymore. Why not?
Why not?
They don't like it. Oh, fine. Okay,
Like
so then he was practicing for the teleprompter, and his friend Nigger Jim. Mr. President, please don't say nigger. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the end for you. Oh, well, fine. Goodness gracious. It's Nigger Jim. That's the fellow's name.
Then he
And
started
so then you
making it
can
worse.
see, and he goes, and his friend Jim. In the place of
That's great.
it should say instead, when they reprint it, Jim. Every time it's supposed to say nigger Jim. Jim.
Or they should just put fucking in front of it.
Yeah, fucking black Jim.
Just
With
fucking
his
nigger
black
Jim.
fucking owned by another person face.
In a different font, so it really
It's there's
stands
nothing
out.
more ignorant than thinking
That's
you're fixing
ridiculous.
anything
Thank you.
by taking Nigger Jim out of Huck Finn.
But
it was a fucking it's a fucking monument to American history. This is what, and the book is about a kid's struggle with if you've read Huck Finn, which I haven't. The point of it, no, I read it at some point, but the point of it is that this kid, Huckleberry Finn, has this friend.
Yeah. Jim.
Jim, who's a slave, and he's his friend, and he grew up with him, and he wants Nigger Jim wants him to help him to escape slavery, and the kid has been raised that that's wrong, that Nigger Jim is a slave and he belongs to somebody else, and to help him would be stealing, would be like corroborating with a theft, to take away. That's what people were raised. And he has an internal struggle of, but I know him, he's a human being, and I don't know what to do about it. And to take away nigger out of the Nigger Jim's name just fucking destroy it. It's like pretending he wasn't a slave.
Yeah.
It would be like rewriting the story and just saying Jim was an employee of the Home Depot who wasn't paid much and he was thinking of getting another job. But Home Depot's really, their contracts are really strict. So Huck Finn had to help him get a job at IKEA. No, he was a fucking slave who was whipped, and his name was Nigger Jim. That's how bad his life was.
Yes,
so if you take
bad.
nigger out of Nigger Jim's name, you're softening the reality of what life was like then. And you're taking away what was great about Mark Twain's humor.
Right.
Is that he reduced the misery of not only black people, but of all poor people in the South. He took that context and made colorful, beautiful, funny stories inside of that of this barefoot kid who's fucking starving, and he's a dynamic, interesting character. And his friend Nigger Jim has a voice. Nobody else was writing for Nigger Jim.
It softens the whole conflict that the kid is feeling too by. Because then it's like, oh, it's just Jim.
Yeah, it's just his friend Jim. No, this guy's life is so bad that he actually has to say, hi, my name is Nigger Jim.
Right.
Like, he actually has to answer to Nigger Jim.
Yeah.
But now it's Slave Jim, and eventually they'll get rid of slave.
How about this? Would it be
and
acceptable
make it,
if they call
servant or something else?
Yeah,
Softer.
exactly.
Jim the you-know-what? That'd be
And eventually it'll just
How
be
about Black Jim? Like people just
Jim.
say it about people at work.
Yeah.
Just Black Jim.
The black guy. You know
Black
Black
Jim.
Jim?
Yeah.
But who is offended by this? Because I spent a lot of time on Twitter because this
Just
was
niggers.
I wanted to set you up there. Perfect.
I don't know.
But
It's usually white people.
But you know what? I was on Twitter a lot yesterday looking at this because it was a trending topic. No one was offended that was commenting on it. Black people weren't offended. White people weren't offended. Equally, people were like, why are they doing this?
I thought it was financial. My take was because this book company is doing it.
But
and
then they're out of touch because
I think every time, I think that's a very shrewd, Jim. I think that every time they do a new edition of Huck Finn, they go, roll out the fucking nigger thing to get it out on the store, to get these sell some books.
And they're
Very
afraid people
possible.
might not buy it with nigger, and especially the climate now. So, like, we want to sell books, change it like that, and maybe schools that aren't buying it will buy it. I think it's a financial
Oh, yeah, no, putting nigger in a book just shuts down sales.
Well, I mean,
Anybody
to
gives a
colleges
shit.
and schools.
No, I know.
But Twitter is huge, and I'm telling you, I didn't see one person go, well, they should take it out. They were all like, what the fuck is this
who's
about?
talking about taking it out now? The publisher? Is they talking about
the
taking it out?
publisher is taking it out.
The New South.
Without really giving a reason. I haven't seen a reason yet why they're taking
No,
it
it's
out.
really...
They said it was actually based on one guy complaining and talking about it, that whenever he had to talk about the book as he was teaching, he did the Jim.
How fucking important is that? And you should say nigger Jim when you talk about the book. You should, if you're talking to 6th graders about it, You should say nigger Jim every time. You should never say Jim without nigger. In
any
life.
context, sports.
Yeah, nigger Jim.
On this show in the morning when I say hi in the morning.
Opie and Anthony with Nigger Jim.
Yeah, that's your new name, Jim.
Nigger Jimmy Norton. Little nigger Jimmy Norton.
Oh, Jesus, Lou, you got to show on FX. You're gonna get an
No,
FX,
but you shouldn't. That's how.
call soon.
That's how you. If you untie those two, you're doing a real fucking damage.
Yeah, that's,
I agree.
It is
not
softening.
Completely agree.
Completely.
And they'll continue softening it. They won't stop by with just naming him Slave Jim. They'll move on from there. Hey, a quote from Mark Twain about censorship. Censorship is telling a man he can't have a steak just because a baby can't chew it.
That's very, very Mark Twain of him.
That is Twain.
Telling a
Can you
fucking
find
man
Mark
he can't
Twain
have a
about
wow.
Huck Finn? Because he said you'd find Mark Twain talking about Huck
great.
Finn.
Yeah, I would love to know.
And if you Google, also YouTube around and see if you can find that Ronald Reagan clip, because I swear to God, it's what it always ends up being something I didn't know.
What a great quote.
yeah,
What
that
a
is.
fucking
That's a good one.
censorship is telling a man he can't have steak because a baby can't chew it.
Right.
That is fucking
we
genius.
sacrificed, and said this years ago, our own entertainment because we got to protect the children.
Yeah, the children.
But I
What
think
happened to-
also
what
baby
about
is
our
a-
entertainment?
A baby is also about other adults and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
metaphorically
that's
as well.
definitely
There's
used
a-
as a metaphor
Absolutely.
for asshole children
What a
thinking.
I never read that.
douchebag.
I don't read Mark Twain. I've never read him. I
Oh,
mean,
Jimmy.
I'm just not. I'm
Neither
just.
do I.
Wow, that's a great quote. That stopped me in my tracks, and
a good
I'm hard
one.
to do. As everybody says, no one doesn't stop in their tracks like Norton. That's what the word on the street is.
Word on the
People who
street.
think other people have different impressions of them than they do. Well, everybody's like, people always know. I don't fuck around. Nobody knows it. Jerk off.
Nobody knows that.
And in other news, it's official, according to CSA Dick, the Cleveland Cavaliers have offered that homeless guy the job of announcing at the fucking Cleveland Cavaliers.
Cleveland
games.
needs something.
Yeah, that guy is
Poor
gonna
guy,
have
though.
a really good job.
See, he turns it down because he doesn't want to live in Cleveland.
Right.
Yo, maybe he wants to go somewhere warmer.
Well, that too, Chip.
Just ruined your brilliant joke.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah, well, what are we doing? We're looking up the clip.
I was trying to find
find
the
it.
Ronald
Yeah,
Reagan clip. That's going to be a hard thing to find.
I'm gonna.
Yes.
It was a PBS documentary. I'm gonna watch that today. Can I watch it on YouTube?
Netflix.
It's kind of difficult to find, actually.
How about Netflix?
Later, I will.
I gotta look. I gotta look. When I did a preliminary search, it wasn't really yielding a lot
What's
besides
it called,
VHS
Lou?
tapes.
What's that?
What's the special called? The documentary.
I don't fucking remember.
I'll get it for you. Hang on.
Someone can help me out and let me know.
That's all right.
don't.
Sometimes we snap.
I don't. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
It is called
Sorry.
Culture Shock. Born to Trouble: Adventures of Huck Finn. That's the name of it, but it's kind of hard to find because it's 10 years old already.
Right.
Oh, see, so yeah,
I'm
Lou's
surprised
right.
YouTube doesn't have a.
This
I know.
is
I just did this.
cyclical.
It might be on there, but not under that title anyway.
Right.
Is it on Netflix, Dan?
I need to look for it because
Please.
I'm doing something else now.
Let me say hi to Jerry in Maine. Jerry.
Hey, boys, how are you?
Pretty good, buddy.
Right.
Louie, it's a great show, and
You know what? Hold on 1 second.
Uh-oh.
We will go back to you in a sec. Kyle
sound
in
like
California is a
it's
black
gearing
guy,
up,
very
yeah.
angry. Kyle, what's up?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Kyle.
How you doing, Kyle?
And you're.
He's laughing.
What's up, Kyle?
I just want to say I love the show, right? But you guys, like, Patrice, if Patrice was there, you guys would use like your fucking nigga quota this morning. Like, this shit is ridiculous. Louis, I love your show too. My wife and I watch it all the time. Genius. But who made the point saying that to take out the word nigga Jim out of takes away from the story? I didn't catch who caught that.
No, it's not. It would take away from. Well, it would take away from the story, but it also it would take away the historical context of it. It would take. It would be sanitizing.
Kyle, let him finish. He makes a good point.
It would be sanitizing history in a way that in the end is bad for black people, I think.
Louis, he was a slave.
Yeah, I know.
So how does taking the word that in highly offensive word, mind you?
Because he wasn't just a slave; he was called Nigger Jim.
Everything about his
life.
life
That's how horrid it was. It takes away from the horror of what this guy's life was.
And also, Kyle,
Wait.
Let me ask you something. When you read something, you should be hit with a visceral reaction. Like Slave Jim, it's a horrible thing to be a slave, but that doesn't give you a visceral reaction. When you read...
No, Jim. If you knew anything about what slavery was really entailed, it doesn't matter what you call it.
You have 1 minute left on your phone card. You have 1 minute left on your phone card.
Kyle,
I'm going to wrap it up.
let me ask you a question. Because we've said what we think about it. If you want to add something, what would be accomplished by taking Nigger Jim out of the book?
I think the fact, and I agree with you on censorship, it's diluting our society. And that quote that he had saying, if you take steak away from a man, it's like you're stopping a baby from eating.
Kyle, what would be accomplished? Did you take him off?
No. He's not.
What would be accomplished? What positive would come out of taking Nigger Jim out of a book like Huck Finn?
The positive that I feel would be accomplished would set a standard as far as what's acceptable in our society, and I agree with you as far as censorship, but
it's not about censorship. It's about telling.
Somebody said it was a great part of American history, right? That book stems from a great part of American history. It's part of American history.
Right.
That was a very dark and disgusting time in our history.
So should we?
Let's make believe it didn't happen.
Should we go back and change what it was really like?
Right.
Is that? I mean, is that even fucking? You know.
I don't think it should be celebrated.
Kyle,
should we go back and should we redub? It's not being celebrated. It's being motherfucking-nated. Grow the fuck up, man.
Should Roots be edited a certain way?
Should we redub Schindler's List and everywhere that they say Juden, say respectfully Jews, no problem with them, but let's go ahead and kill them. But let's not go and call them Juden.
I knew you would bring that point up as far as how the Jews were treated. Even the Japanese in World War II, we call them chinks and whatever you call them, flat faces, who knows? I understand your
Dude, should Roots be redone with the word nigger removed?
No.
Why?
Because that all right, I'm nailed. You got me.
Okay, thank you, Kyle. Seriously, that takes balls to admit you're wrong.
Yeah, no one does that.
I'm done with
You're
that.
right.
All right.
Oh, you know what?
Thank you, Kyle.
So go home and get your fucking shine box.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Hey, Lo, you think...
Frank Vincent quotes.
Listen, he said it. We didn't say
Just a question, because it goes back to the 9/11 stuff and all. You think slavery was bad for everybody that was a slave?
Imagine if that was...
Oh, that was a slave?
That was a slave.
Do you think like one guy was kind of cool?
I'm just asking the question. Think there were some slaves that went, holy fuck, this is a pretty good damn life I got.
It was no, because you can't choose it. You can't make a choice. That's essential to his human happiness.
Some guys had better experiences. The ones that worked in the house. That's where that
some
especially
people
comes from.
found happiness inside of
everybody
lives
happy
of
that
slaves.
slavery was abolished?
You would still be the bird.
Or
in the
did some
gilded
people go,
cage.
fuck, I had it actually pretty easy doing what I was doing. And now
when I learned American history back when I was in junior high school, because that's as far as my education really got. I was in high school, but I didn't learn anything there. Life got very suddenly difficult for people after they were freed. Their life, some of them, their lives were simpler, and then some of them, their lives got more difficult. But I think if you had asked them, they would have said life is hard now, but I'd rather that than be a slave. I would say most people.
Just
but there's always
question.
You're always going to have some that'll like take that
that are
going to
go.
like,
That certainly, life was easier than.
It's like
I can
prison.
think that
There
about
are
a lot
people-
of times in my life that were worse but easier.
There are people in prison that don't want to ever get out of prison. So
Also, by the way,
the
those
same thing.
people, the slaves that were freed, took a hit for the rest of for every generation after them. They had the hardest job, which was to transition to a free life, and they suffered for it because suddenly they go from being slaves, somebody who at least the whites would protect them just because they're their property, just based on with the same protection of like stay off my lawn, stop hitting my slave, and then suddenly they become just their neighbor who they hate.
Right,
and who
right.
they'll do who they just because they're so bored of being poor that they just take it out on black people. So yeah, I think that there was probably black people that were bitter. I'm talking totally out of my ass. It's not my experience, but I'm
speculating.
If I was to speculate,
yeah.
I would say.
Obviously,
there
it
are
was
people
awful,
like this
but-
fucking. I think I wouldn't be left with like I shouldn't have been freed. I would have been left with white people really stink because first they fucking capture you, own you, and then they let you go and beat the shit out of you till you die. I really am not fond of whites. That would have been my prevailing feeling for anybody at that time.
You sure
not
wrapped that
freedom
up.
stinks, but white people aren't fun in any capacity.
They're not being fun and nice.
No. They're not being fun and nice.
I think if slaves were kind of given some of the shit they were...
I love. Sorry,
No.
that guy's not really nice. It's like this. There's a Gary Larson cartoon of hell, and there's two guys sitting in the corner of hell waiting to get like tortured, and one guy's whispering to the other guy, "I hate this place." It's like sort of off. It's not for me. I'm not into this. So I suppose there's black people that were like that.
Yeah, I think it's put a terrible burden on the country in many, many ways over many, many years.
You know, like
Thank you.
Kyle's call though is like, you know, he's a black guy. He's fucking doesn't like the word nigger. Fair enough, but it's like that reaction, that initial just that anger about it. It's like when you break it down logically, it's like it shouldn't be taken out. To be pleasant or to be polite. You can't change something that makes you realize how horrible something.
was.
You should read that and feel unpleasant about it.
Yeah, that's what Mark Twain was
Also,
going
it's
for.
what he wrote. It's what
Right.
Mark Twain wrote.
Yeah.
Leave his shit
Regardless,
alone.
it's what he wrote.
It's what he wrote.
Just
He was. It's a insight into his mind, and even if he wrote it for a nefarious reason, it's what he wrote. Either don't print the book or print it.
Or don't buy it for schools if you don't think kids should read
go
it.
to
whatever.
Go
Don't.
have him read another book.
What are they
Have
going
him
to
read a Harry Potter
re-edit
book
Birth
or
of a
something.
Nation?
Yeah, no, it makes no sense.
Let's re-edit.
It's funny though. It's true.
that.
People are so excited to get offended and to clack it on the keyboard or make that phone call that they don't think about it. They don't think about it, and you give him one simple argument. What, should you take it out of roots? No, but yeah,
And then
that's
it's like,
right.
why? Why should
Oh
you?
yeah.
That
Well, that's why my
represents
nickname
a-
is. Oh, sorry.
Oh, what?
I was going to say my nickname is the Slippery Slope Kid. I really had to bring up slippery slopes.
And that's why you got to fight it, because then you start here, they just continue, and they edit everything. Every movie we know, every book we know,
You can't
history
edit
in general. They would love to edit.
You can't edit unpleasant things.
Right.
They're
part of our
there.
history.
Don't watch them or don't read them. I mean, it's why I wear a shirt that says, "Hey, the knob has an on and off switch."
And this guy,
you gotta love that.
This guy's got some insight on the guy that's doing this. Daniel in Oklahoma, you know a little more than we do, hopefully.
Yeah, I read
Welcome aboard, Dan.
Thanks, Jim. I read an interview with the guy,
No, you didn't.
and it's just one guy. This was not
Exactly.
like a publisher's decision. It wasn't like a board of people who decided to do this. It was one guy. He's a Mark Twain scholar, I guess, as much as you could be.
Right.
And then he goes around and he does presentations at schools about the books and stuff. And he found that a lot of teachers are afraid to assign the book as reading because of that word. So what he did, he rewrote the book, because it's like what is public domain, so somebody can publish it. And at the beginning of the book, there's a several-page foreword that explains that this has been censored, and it basically says, anytime nigger, I'm going to put slave. Like, you basically know that up front.
But
And
it's
he
just
did it so that teachers can assign the book and kids can learn it and want it. And then
And
maybe
it's a
they'll go read the
fucking
real thing.
shame. It's a fucking shame because
It's a shame, but
kids
it's
should
not,
know.
You know, it's not a conspiracy, and it's not. He doesn't feel guilty about it.
I believe it is.
No, it isn't a conspiracy. It's just a bad decision, and it's
Of course it is.
and it has an impact because kids that are going to read the book aren't going to know what history was like. They're not going to know how bad things were. They're also not going to know how the story worked. They're not going to understand the irony almost. The dichotomy, or other words I don't know exactly what they mean, of this kid having a friend who he calls Nigger Jim, and he has affection for him, and actually is thinking about turning him in. He's actually thinking, well, if I was taught the golden rule: turn niggers in when they run away. Like that's what it was to grow up in that time.
Yeah.
Come on, Nigger Jim, you're my pal. What a crazy sentence that is. Leave it the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Let kids deal with that. Not only the reality of how hard things were for black people, but there were friendships that included moments like saying, "Nigger Jim, you're my best friend," or whatever. I don't know the book well enough to come up with, but there's probably some, like there was a movie about Hitler that came out a few years ago with John Cusack, where he knows he's a friend of young Hitler when he was an artist. And he says to him,
fun Hitler.
And he says to him at one point, "Oh, Hitler, let me buy you a lemonade." That's a quote from the movie. "Hitler, let me buy you a lemonade." What a crazy thing! But it's a valuable thing for people to know that Hitler was once some art student that somebody took sympathy on and bought him a lemonade to cheer him up.
Who knew he liked
Did he drink
lemonade?
it? Did he accept the lemonade?
He accepted the lemonade and said, "I'm going to kill every Jew."
Yeah. Did he see the lemonade and go, "Wow, this will make great dye for numbers"? That really started the ball rolling.
Probably a good thing you didn't ask for
you
didn't ask for orange juice. Huh?
I didn't hear you, sir. We talked over you. I apologize.
I was trying to do a chip. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
You're gone. Thank you.
I actually didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Louis, you like that your kids go to public schools?
Yeah, I do. I think public school is an important part of how things work.
Are they learning
when they work.
proper things, you think?
No, but they got, it's good they're getting a bad education to get. No, we have a particularly good public school in our neighborhood because we have wealthier people in our neighborhood.
But you seen that PC shit, though?
Fact. What's that?
The PC shit?
No, it's
Merry Christmas at that school? Still?
I'm trying to remember if in Christmas we had Christmas stuff up. I don't know. I don't care about that. I don't believe that that's the fucking battleground.
the happy holidays.
Bill
or
O'Reilly.
Merry
Who gives a
Christmas.
shit? There's no. What are we defending Santa Claus and
you're a
Jesus?
Pinhead, then.
Yeah, apparently I'm a
You're
pinhead.
A pinhead and
Don't
not
get
a
on his
patriot.
bad
I don't
side,
think it
Mo.
makes any difference. That's
Watch out for
cheesy.
him.
When they say Merry Christmas in school, it's just as cheesy as when they say Happy Holidays to everyone. I don't care.
Okay.
But the kids' education I think it's really a huge part of why America grew well, even though it's now dying poorly.
A horrible death.
That people would all throw into this one school, and wherever you lived, that's where you went, and that it was paid for by a collective, and kids in your neighborhood and teachers in your neighborhood all interacted, rather than this idea that a school is being paid for and selecting children. You get all these things like fake diversity in private schools, where private schools brag that they have a certain amount of, just enough black people.
Just enough diversity.
Yeah, to
say we're diverse.
To make everyone comfortable.
Yeah, but public schools are just very ad hoc. They're very imperfect, and they're good.
What's ad hoc mean?
Ad hoc means kind of put together without a plan, I think.
Yeah, it's like an ad hoc.
Sounds
committee.
right.
Yeah, there's layers of lumpy paint. There's not really
and you can get the shit beat out of you by the diverse crowd in public school.
Yeah, yeah, and you just do your best in a public school, and it's got the depth that you can go in. If you're a kid that's really curious, you can learn. Otherwise, you might be ignored. It's sort of up to you.
Learn more about like real life and how to function in a society.
But it's terrible that there are places where there is no good public school. I mean, there's neighborhoods in America where there is no accredited school, where there is no school.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like in Lowell, Mass. I think my friend of mine is a doctor, and he bought a mansion in Lawrence, Massachusetts, because it cost him $15. And he started living there and opened a clinic, and then he learned that there was no school. Literally, the public schools were so bad that they lost accreditation. That if you graduated from the local school, you couldn't go to college.
It didn't matter. You just went and
totally, because they didn't have enough money to keep the schools going. There was no private school, so literally those kids were weren't growing up illiterate.
Wow,
that's fucked up, and it should be, I think, fixed through public school. I don't believe in all this charter shit and private school vouchers. I don't personally believe it. That's just my belief, though.
I went to a great tax. I know that, and I don't have no kids.
What's that?
I ain't got no kids, but I pay a lot of school tax.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So enjoy your education, kids.
It's so, I guess it's so, they're not throwing shit at my house.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's keeping the dirty folks in the
Keep
building.
the nice schools, because if you have nice schools, then it keeps nice people in your neighborhood.
That's right.
So it's pretty much I'm paying extortion money to keep
the neighborhood nice.
The bad people out of my neighborhood.
They get you coming and going, Aunt, right? How many times have we said that?
Right in the pocketbook. They hit you right in the pocketbook, Jim.
Running out of show. One more phone call for Louis C.K. because it's a good one. Melissa, what do you got for Louis?
Oh, you saved the best for last. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning,
Hi, Melissa.
Why are you laughing at?
I have been married for 10 years, and just recently I started really changing my viewpoint on that, and listening to the show has been a big help, and Louie'2 in particular have really led me in the right direction. So I just wanted to thank you.
So do what? Divorce?
You got out of a bad marriage?
She's trying not to say what she's...
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Because of Louis C.K.?
Pretty much, more or less, yeah.
There you go, Lo. You're helping people.
Well, what was wrong with the marriage that you had to get out of it?
It just wasn't working.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too specific.
Oh, yeah, no, vague. Keep it vague.
Do you have kids?
That's what I do. But yeah, it's...
You have kids?
It's been... No, and that
Oh, so, who fucking cares then?
Yeah.
Exactly.
He wanted
Who
it in the
cares?
ass.
Did he ever hit you?
Want some ass.
Did he ever hit you? I love it.
Was it physically abusive?
No.
What do you do wrong?
What are you, the Kramer versus Kramer lawyer? Did he hit you at all? Was he an alcoholic?
Yeah.
Did he blow his money? Did he? Well, then I can see why you left him. Next witness.
I don't want to put blame on
You want the kid, don't you?
What makes a woman a better
Cheating.
parent simply by virtue of her sex? There's a great line from Kramer versus Kramer.
Infidelity.
What's your sex?
I don't know who that was.
Infidelity.
Dustin
Jerry
Hoffman.
Seinfeld.
That was good.
No, marriages are sometimes they just stink. Every fucking day stinks, and then you stop talking about it because it's so bad that you can't communicate because the only communication would be, "Honey, I'm not feeling so good about us." I know because every day sucks and we should split up. That's a hard thing to say out loud. But there's nothing, it's natural. Why should nothing is going to just keep going except for Opie's marriage. Other than that, there's
It really is
no
a happy
reason to
marriage.
I really think marriages should be finite. I really think you should sign like a 5-year, 10-year contract.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on your...
gotta re-up. You should be
Probably
able to
ruined our
re-up after that?
relationship with getting married.
Well, that's what, if you were to like do a 10-year, 5-year, I love you, I want to marry you for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then around 9 years, you start talking about, you want to keep doing this?
renegotiate.
You want to keep re-up? Well, then you could say, here's why I'm not crazy about re-upping. You could actually say it. If you're 9 years deep into a forever relationship, you can't even talk about the problems because there's so much at stake. But if you're at year 9, you'd be like, okay, here's what I hate about you. If you could change 40% of these, I would hang in for another 5 years. And then the other person goes, I don't want to change this. I don't want to change this.
What a brilliant idea.
Well, because we're talking about changing marriage to be civil unions anyway, to be a civil union, by the way, is a prenuptial agreement. That's what it is.
Yeah.
A prenuptial agreement is a civil union. It's a court-based
And thank God for those.
civil. So you write those out.
No wonder he left
And then
you.
every marriage will become... I know. Every marriage will become...
Exactly. The men are talking.
Yeah, why don't you go grab some coffee for the boys?
Go there and make some cookies. I want to smell cookie dough wafting out of the kitchen. And
Yeah,
you
me
waddle
too.
around in your apron while the men talk. And fucking drag your cunt into the fucking kitchen.
Yeah.
Make
No,
us
listen,
cookies.
I'm glad you got out of there. It's not...
I'm only kidding, madam.
There's a lot of pressure on married people to stay together by people that have no stake in it.
Yes.
No, you got to
right.
hang in there.
Like
you don't live in
in-laws.
my fucking house, so
You don't know the misery.
no. And if you don't have kids, I don't even care. I mean, if you don't have kids, you broke up with your boyfriend.
You're dating, right?
Yeah, who gives a fuck? It's
it.
meaningless. There's no. You just too
It does
deep.
become different when you become a father. Holy
Yeah, that's
shit,
it,
man.
Totally
Well,
different.
in
world.
any event, thank you, Louie.
All right, Melissa.
Sure.
Go
Bye,
fuck
Melissa.
yourself.
Yeah.
Good luck to you.
With that, we got to thank Louis C.K. It was great catching up with Louis, man.
Always.
Thank you, fellas.
He's really famous.
Yes, he is.
Oh,
Very famous now.
oh my God! No, it's. I'm at the White House.
I'll tell you what.
That's what you know. What when I tweeted the Sarah Palin cunt tweets, the thought I had up there in the sky was, I've put a glass ceiling on my career. I just put a glass
You'll
ceiling.
never be the guy
I
at the
will
White
never
House.
be at the White House correspondence. Like
No.
that's like the heavyweight champion of the. That's what every great comic gets
Wants.
to eventually is roasting the president.
Yeah.
And in the White House, and somebody will vet me for that at some point, just because I'm one of the, I'm on a list, a short list of comedians in the world. I don't know how short the list is, at least 20 or so. And if you who are alive and working, and if you tick down that list, you get to my name. Click Google. Nah, let's not invite that problem.
Comments, that's going to be a problem.
Sarah Palin's retard making cunt. I don't think we want.
That's going to be a problem.
Steer clear of this one.
To give the Chris or whatever the fucking people at Fox News are.
Yeah, we don't want.
All right.
Barack Obama apparently thought it would be funny to have this guy Who said that
Beck.
Sarah Palin's son was a retard?
Now, if a Republican comic had said something like that, they'd have hung him out to dry.
They really would have done a number on that one.
I do love the hypocrisy there.
Fucking Louie, you rule. All right, what do we got to do? We got to make sure people see Hilarious. It's going to be on Comedy Central Sunday night at 10 p.m., and then the DVD/CD will be available Tuesday for Hilarious.
Yes, and Louie will come back on FX in June.
Can't fucking wait, Louie.
New episodes.
We can't wait for that. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Lou.
The Virus. Sirius-XM. This is the Opie and Anthony Show.